Hi guys, it's Mrs. Anglade again. So I thought what I would do for the globe, if you're okay with this, is I don't have a multiple computer display, and so I'm just going to have the directions open over here and then model over here on the right hand side. So the first thing they want us to do is to take this default cube and they want us to delete it. So we're going to delete it. They want us to open up, and you can either do this one of two ways. You can say the N key, or you can hit this plus arrow right here. If this is not your first Blender project, you know how to do that. Let's go ahead and get an ortho, just because I like ortho view a lot better. Maybe do one. I'm not sure what we're going to need. We do need our XYZ cursor to be at 0, 0, 0. So let's get that where that is. All right. So what they want us to do now is they want us to go to front view. Well, look at that. I kind of knew that they were going to have us go there. Shift A and add a UV sphere object. So let me get this current. There we go. So Shift A, and I'm going to add a, what was it? UV sphere. Okay, and then in the properties panel, it says they want the dimensions of X, Y, and Z to be all 2.828. I'm right here. 2.828. So dimensions right here. So 2.828. That's a very specific dimension, isn't it? 2.828 and 2.828. All right, so my sphere is back. In the Tools panel on the left, press the Smooth button. This will smooth out the sphere's faces. So right underneath here where it says Shading, we're going to hit Smooth. That makes it nice and smooth. Okay. In the right Properties panel, name this object Earth. All right, so I'm double-clicking and naming that Earth. Okay. Still in front view, go to wireframe mode. Make sure your 3D cursor is still at XYZ is 0. So I want to go into that. My cursor is still at 0, 0, 0. I want to deselect, so I'm going to hit A to deselect that, and I'm going to hit Shift A. Still making sure that you're in object mode, you're going to hit Shift A, and we are going to add a circle object. Okay. Properties panel, we're going to set the scale to 1.5 on all of the dimensions. So 1.5, make sure you're on scale and not dimensions, I guess. There we go, 1.5. And let's see, what else do they want? X rotation to 90 degrees, 90. All right, there we go. Tab into edit mode with all the vertices selected. Press the E key followed by the S key and extrude scale the vertices out a bit as shown. Okay, so with all the vertices selected, let me zoom in a little bit. We're going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to hit E and then S, and then I'm going to extrude these out a little bit like this. Let's make sure that it looks correct. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so deselect the vertices. All right, so deselect the vertices. We're going to box select the vertices on the left as shown. All right, so I'm going to box select. And it looks like I want these, leaving those two top ones. And I'm going to hit the X key, and I want to get rid of those vertices. Okay. Select all the vertices, go to top view. You know, I think this is incorrect because they're going to extrude it a little bit later. So I'm going to skip over that extrude, and we're going to box select the top two left and bottom vertices as shown below. All right, so I'm going to box select those two. All right, press the E key followed by the X and extrude them to the left along the X axis as shown. Okay, so they just want us to extrude these a little bit. So E along the X axis. So just like that. Now they want us to go and select all the vertices, go to top view, which is 7. Press the extrude key and extrude them up a bit along the y-axis as shown. I think that's about what they want. Oh, they want it a little bit taller. Okay, so I just used the green widget arrow. Deselect the vertices, tab out of edit mode, tab out of edit mode. In the tool panel on the left, press the origin button. select origin to geometry. So set origin to geometry. So that moved that origin so that we can have it be in the right place. Still in top view, move the circle object down a bit. So we want to move that down so it's kind of centered. So I'm kind of using that little red line, this red line right here, to kind of help me center it. And so that looks about good. All right, tab into edit mode, go to the side view. Go to side view, which I believe is 1 or maybe 3. Yeah, 3. Go to face select mode and box select all of the center faces. Okay, so I think the way to do this is to go to B, and then I'm going to box select just in the middle, because what I don't want is, I don't see how I didn't want those end ones. Okay, so I think that's exactly what we wanted. Yep. And then it says rotate your display, hold down your shift key, and select the 2 leftmost spaces. This will remove them. Okay, so what they don't want us to have is they don't want us to have this one, so I'm holding down the shift key. Oh, hold down the shift. I gotta get a better view. There we go. Okay, so I'm holding down shift. There we go. All right, what do they want us to do now? Okay, so under the shading, so let's change that. Under the shading and where it says faces, they want us to smooth that. So that'll give us some nice smooth edges on our shading. Okay, go back to vertex select. You know, in here I'm sure it said to probably save somewhere because we're already on page 14 or 15. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go File, Save As. Let's make sure I'm in my folder, and so I'm going to call it Englade Globe, and then I'm going to say 14. Okay. All right. So go back to vertex select. Go back to vertex select in the properties panel. We're going to call this the arm. There we go. I couldn't select it there for a minute. So there's the arm. Press the Z key to go into solid shading mode. I'm going to get rid of the A. There we go. So he's talking about, like, in his model, there's kind of some dark streaks. I don't see any dark streaks in mine, but you might have had this happen, like, in your shark blender. And so if this were to happen, I guess I do need all these selected. What you can do, and it's up underneath the shading and UVs, you could say recalculate, and it will turn all of them the same way. So sometimes you get that little black shading, it kind of doesn't look right, but that is how you can recalculate them. Sometimes, like, sides of your vertices, your faces get turned inside out, and so that's how we recalculate the normals. All right, so let's see, save your Blender file, we just saved it. Go to wireframe mode, deselect those vertices with your 3D cursor still at 0, 0, 0. So it never tells us to go into object mode, but we're about to add an object, and so I want it to be in object mode just so that they are separate objects. Okay, whoops, I want that to be 0. Oh, that to be 0, that to be 0. Okay, so cursor is back there. We're going to Shift A, we want a mesh cylinder. Where are you, cylinder? There we go. In the XYZ, scale to 0.06. That is very tiny. Very tiny. 0.06, not 0.6, 0.06. Okay, so that is very tiny. And they want us to move that up here. Let me get, there we go. That's much better. I went into the front view, which is number pad 1. All right. That looks like that's what they want. Maybe down a little bit more. Okay. All right. On the tool panel, okay, we're going to call this pivot top. Pivot top. All right. And then we're going to duplicate that. So we're going to hit Shift D. Shift D, let me make sure that's current. Shift D, and then let's move this down. And right there, and let's call that pivot bottom. Pivot bottom. Yeah. All right. Save your Blender file. What page are we on? 19. File. Save as. You know how I like to save multiple things just in case we were to have problems with it. Alright, so my cursor is still at 0, 0, 0, and now I'm going to hit Shift A, Mesh. We're adding a UV sphere object, and we are going to set the scale to 1.5 on all axes. Scale 1.5. Alright, so that made it bigger. We're going to tab. Okay, we're going to move this down on the Z axis, down like this, and a little bit up. Okay, tab into edit mode. Oops. Tab into edit mode. Select the lower set of vertices as shown below. Alright, so A. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm box selecting these. Is that right? Yep, that looks right. So X, vertices. Okay, tab out of edit mode. Press the origin button. Okay, so I got off this. So here, go back to tools. Set origin, origin to geometry. Okay, we're going to name this base. Base. Alright, and save your Blender file. We're on page 23. Save as. Change 19 to 23. Enter twice. Okay, camera. We'll be adding some materials to the objects, so we want to test render them, deselect the objects, rotate your 3D report, control member pad. Okay, so they're having us, and we've done this before, so they kind of want us to, let's go into Z mode, and let's just kind of get a camera view that maybe looks like this. So we're going to hit Control Alt 0. All right, I don't like that view. It's not in the full camera mode, so I'm just going to zoom out a little bit with my ruler, my mouse ball, and just hit Control Alt 0 again, and that looks pretty good. When I render this, though, I have got some light, but I'm not getting enough light, so it looks like we're going to have to do some lighting. So let's hit Escape. Let's get out of that. I hit 0 to get out of that camera mode. So it says go to front view. Place your cursor below. Okay, so we're getting rid of delete the point lamp. Okay, so up here I left clicked and I'm going to delete that. And so now down here what they want us to do is they want us to place your cursor below the base object and press Shift A. Okay, so there's my Shift A, lamp, hemi lamp. Now they want us to go into the object data editor. Let me see what I'm looking for there. Okay, so I'm going, what kind of looks like a bow and arrow to me is what it looks like. So I am going to change the hemi lamp energy. Energy's right here to 0.4 to kind of turn that energy down a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to move that over a little bit. And now I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate that. I'm going to move this one over here, and I'm going to rotate so that this one's pointing off in this direction. Alright. I'm going to hit Shift D again, Shift D, and I'm going to move this one over here, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's pointing up. I'm just following the directions, exactly what it looks like. And then Shift D again, and I'm going to rotate it so it's pointing off to the right. Alright, so let's render it again and see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Alright, I'm going to stop the video here. We're approaching 15 minutes, so I am going to save it. I'm on page 27, so save as 27. 27. My room went dark and I'm trying to find 27. There we go. Alright, y'all. I'll see you back in the next video.